You're doing everything right. You're kind, loyal, supportive. He enjoys your company. He says he cares. But something's missing. He's not moving forward. He's not stepping up. He's not committing. Why? What if I told you? It's not because he's not ready. It's not because he's unsure. And it's definitely not because you're not enough. The truth is, most women are playing the wrong role in the relationship dynamic without even realizing it. It's subtle. It's silent. And yet it's the one thing that keeps men from seeing you as the woman they can't live without. Here's the kicker. There's one move that instantly shifts how he sees you, from fun to be around to I need her in my life forever. This isn't about changing yourself, playing games, or manipulating. It's about stepping into a version of you that activates his deepest masculine wiring, the part of him that wants to claim, protect, and build a future. This move is so simple. Most women overlook it. But once you do it, consciously, confidently, you'll feel the shift. He'll lean in. He'll get curious. He'll start seeing you as his future, not just his present. And no, this isn't another text him this line trick. This is deeper than that. It's psychological, it's energetic, and it works, whether you've been dating 3 weeks or 3 years. So buckle up, because once you learn this move, you'll never chase again. Let's get one thing straight. Men and women are biologically wired differently when it comes to love, connection, and commitment. Most women fall in love through emotional bonding, deep conversations, quality time, shared vulnerability. That's when your heart starts to say, I could see a future here. But for men, that bonding moment often doesn't happen through words. It happens through impact. Specifically, how a woman makes him feel about himself when he's around her. Here's the psychology behind it. Men are naturally driven by the need to provide, protect, and pursue. This isn't just cultural, it's primal. When a man is with a woman who triggers that instinct, not by demanding or chasing, but by creating space for him to step up, something shifts inside him. He begins to attach to her, not because she's available, but because he sees purpose in showing up for her. This is why sometimes, even if you're doing everything right, being loving, loyal, and emotionally available, he doesn't feel the pull. Because commitment for a man isn't just about affection, it's about identity. It's about who he becomes around you. If he doesn't feel like the best version of himself when he's with you, he won't associate the relationship with long-term value. And here's where most women accidentally miss the mark. They give too much too soon, thinking generosity will make him commit. But in reality, when there's no space for him to earn your time, attention, or energy, there's no psychological trigger telling him she's the one. You want to understand a man. Watch what he does when he's challenged to rise. When the woman in front of him sees her own worth so clearly that he either levels up or walks away. That's why this one move we're getting into is so powerful. Because it's not about changing him. It's about awakening something in him. Something ancient. Something undeniable. Once you understand this, everything else makes sense. Why he pulls away, why he stays stuck, and exactly what makes him decide, she's the woman I want to spend my life with. There's a mistake almost every woman makes at some point in dating. And the wild part is, it comes from a good place. From wanting to love fully. From believing that giving more will lead to receiving more. From thinking that if I show up perfectly, he'll see my worth and choose me. But here's the hard truth. Over-giving kills desire. Not just physical desire, but emotional commitment, leadership, and pursuit. And yet 90% of women fall into this exact trap. They think being all in will make him step up. But in reality, it creates the opposite effect. You start doing more than you're receiving. You initiate all the plans. You support him emotionally. You become his peace, his therapist, his partner, sometimes even his mother, without realizing it. And slowly you become his comfort, but not his commitment. What's happening underneath the surface is this. When you lean in too far, too fast, you short-circuit the masculine pursuit instinct. The part of him that needs to work for the relationship. The part that bonds through earning you, not being handed access to you. Now don't get this twisted. This isn't about playing hard to get or being cold. It's about being anchored in your value. Because a man doesn't fall for the woman who makes it easiest. He falls for the woman who makes him feel something profound. He falls for the woman who requires him to rise. And here's where the mistake deepens. Many women try to prove their wife material. By becoming overly accommodating, overly patient, overly understanding, they tolerate breadcrumbs, convince themselves he just needs more time, and shrink their standards in the hope he'll one day catch up. But that energy isn't inspiring to a man. It's comfortable. And when a man is too comfortable too soon, he doesn't feel urgency. He doesn't feel the need to make a decision. You become someone he likes, but not someone he fears losing. What does that lead to? Situationships, mixed signals, you putting in 80% while he coasts at 20. And all the while you're asking yourself, why won't he choose me? It's not because he doesn't like you. It's because you made yourself too available before he earned the right to truly have you. That's the mistake. Not being soft, not being feminine, but giving your heart before he's shown you he's safe to hold it. This one move we're building toward. It's about correcting that mistake, not by pulling back in fear, but by moving forward in power. The kind of power that makes a man realize, if I don't step up, someone else will. And in that moment, everything shifts. There's a very specific moment when a man shifts from I enjoy being with her to I can't imagine life without her. That shift isn't random. It's not based on how long you've been together, how often you talk, or how much you do for him. It's triggered by something deeper, something that hits him emotionally and psychologically. Here's the truth. A man doesn't decide to marry a woman because she's the best or the prettiest, or because she checks every box on some invisible list. He decides she's the one when he sees a mirror of the life he wants to build reflected through her presence. It's not about perfection. It's about alignment. He sees a woman who carries herself with grace, who holds her boundaries, who is soft but not passive, and something inside him locks in. It's that moment when he realizes she's not here trying to prove her worth, she already knows it. You become a safe space and a standard. He can breathe around you, but he also wants to rise around you. And that balance, that powerful feminine energy that invites and inspires, is what makes a man look at you and think, wife. What you may not know is that men are constantly assessing, silently, subconsciously, what life would feel like long-term with the woman they're dating. Not just in the romantic moments, but in the mundane ones. Does he feel respected? Does he feel like a man around you? Does he feel emotionally safe, but still challenged to grow? The women men marry are the ones who make them feel like they can be the best version of themselves, not the ones who constantly bend to fit into the man's life. He wants to lead, but only when he senses that your self-respect won't let him coast. He wants to give, but only if you're not already giving him the world unconditionally. He wants to claim you, but only when you're not already handing over the prize before he's earned it. And here's what most women get wrong. They try to get chosen by becoming everything he wants. But what actually makes a man choose forever is when you show up as exactly who you are, grounded, radiant, and unbothered by his indecision. When you carry yourself like a woman who knows that love is available to her, not something she has to chase or convince someone to give, he starts looking at you with different eyes. Not as someone he's dating, but as someone he could build a life with. That's when he stops seeing you as temporary and starts imagining you in every scene of his future. There is one move, one shift in energy and intention that, when done authentically, activates a man's natural desire to commit in a way that feels undeniable to him. It's not about manipulating or playing games. It's not a line you say or a trick you pull. It's about stepping into a version of yourself that forces him to decide one way or the other. That one move is this: stop being available for anything less than what you truly want, and start embodying the energy of a woman who expects love to rise to meet her. This doesn't mean cutting him off or giving ultimatums. It means shifting your emotional posture from waiting to be chosen to choosing yourself first. You stop auditioning. You stop proving. You stop staying quiet when something feels off. Instead, you start operating from a place of quiet power, where your presence alone communicates, I know my worth, and I'm not afraid to walk away if it's not honored. Men feel this energy. It's rare, it's magnetic, and it activates something inside them that no amount of affection, loyalty, or patience ever will. Urgency. When a man senses that he could lose you, not because you're playing hard to get, but because you're living in your truth, it creates a clarity within him. He starts questioning his own readiness, his own behavior, and whether he's rising to meet the kind of love you clearly expect. This move puts the mirror in front of him. And men don't forget that moment. It's the moment he sees you not just as someone who wants love, but as someone who is already whole, with or without his offer. This is the move that shifts everything. It changes the dynamic from you chasing emotional breadcrumbs to him asking himself, how do I keep her? Because here's the thing, men don't fall in love with women who give endlessly. They fall in love with women who know their value and make decisions from that place, calmly, consistently, and without fear. When you stop showing up as an emotional crutch, a therapist, or a placeholder, and start showing up as a woman who knows love is her birthright, you stop accepting confusion as love, and that clarity forces him to either rise up or step out. But either way, you win. Because when you make this move, you no longer settle for temporary attention, you hold out for permanent intention. And when a man senses that he'll either beg to commit or get replaced by someone who will, this move isn't loud, it's not dramatic, it's quiet, powerful, and unforgettable. And once you make it, there's no going back. Let me tell you something powerful. This isn't just theory. This one move, stepping into your worth and refusing to settle for anything less, has changed real women's lives. I've seen it, I've coached them, I've watched their entire relationship dynamics transform almost overnight. And none of them had to beg, convince, or chase to make it happen. Take Erica, for example. She had been in a 3-year situationship with a man who wasn't ready. Every time she brought up commitment, he got uncomfortable, said he needed more time. So she stayed, hoping he'd eventually see her value. But after learning this shift, she stopped showing up like the always available girlfriend. She didn't argue, she didn't threaten. She just raised her standard and calmly let him know that she was ready for a serious commitment, and anything less was no longer aligned. Within 3 weeks, he came back with a ring. Why? Because he finally felt what it would be like to lose her, and that clarity woke him up. Then there's Jasmine, who had just started dating a guy she really liked, but she noticed herself falling into the old pattern of overgiving. Texting first, always being available, making plans. She caught herself and decided to make the shift early. She pulled her energy back, recentered herself, and focused on creating space for him to lead. Within 2 months, he was introducing her to his family, telling her he'd never felt this kind of connection before. These stories aren't rare. They're just what happens when a woman stops pouring from an empty cup and starts owning her emotional value. Not every story ends with a ring, and that's not the point. Some women make the move, and the man walks away, and that's still a win. Because now they're free, open to receive love that matches their standards, not stuck waiting on someone who never planned to meet them there. When you make this move, you don't just change how he sees you, you change how you see you, and that's where the real magic starts. There is something more powerful than beauty, more magnetic than charm, and more unforgettable than even chemistry. And that is the emotional hook a woman creates when she fully embodies her truth. See, men forget faces, they forget dates, they forget what you wore or even what you said. But what they never forget is how they felt when they were around you. And when a man feels something rare, something he doesn't experience with anyone else, that feeling becomes the hook. Not a manipulation, not a trap, but an emotional signature he can't replicate anywhere else. So what is that feeling? It's the energy of a woman who is deeply connected to herself. She's not performing. She's not calculating. She's not trying to be the cool girl, the perfect partner, or the one who never complains. She's just real, and her realness creates a presence that grounds him. He feels seen by her, challenged by her, moved by her, not because she tries to fix or impress him, but because she reflects back to him who he could be, not just who he is. That is the hook he can't ignore. She's the woman who speaks her truth, even if her voice shakes. She asks for what she wants, not because she's demanding, but because she honors her needs. She's soft without being small. She's vulnerable without being needy. She can hold space for him, but she never abandons herself in the process. When a man meets a woman like that, his nervous system remembers her. He can go on dates with other women. He can try to distract himself, but the emotional imprint stays with him. It's in the way she held eye contact when she said, "I deserve more." It's in the way she didn't chase him when he pulled away. It's in the way she smiled, not to win him over, but because she was at peace with who she is. That's the moment he starts thinking, she's different. That's when you go from being an option to becoming irreplaceable. The emotional hook isn't about drama or intensity. It's about depth. A man will not settle down with the most convenient woman. He'll settle down with the one who stirs something real in him. A desire to be better, a fear of losing her, a vision of something he never thought he could have. And once that hook is in place, once he's felt what it's like to be in the presence of a woman who doesn't just want love, but embodies it, every other connection feels surface level. That's when the chase begins. That's when the commitment starts to form in his mind. Not because you asked for it, but because he felt it was worth it. Now that you understand the power behind this one move, the big question becomes, how do you actually apply it starting today? How do you shift from being overly available or emotionally invested in uncertainty to becoming the kind of woman who naturally inspires commitment without saying a word? Let's break it down into clear, grounded steps you can take right now. Step 1. Get radically honest about what you truly want. Not what you're settling for, not what you think he's capable of giving, but what you deeply desire in a relationship. Is it emotional safety, a clear future together, marriage, family, whatever it is? Stop watering it down to avoid scaring someone off. The moment you name your desire, you reclaim your power. Step 2. Observe the energy exchange. Is the relationship reciprocal? Are your needs being met? Are you giving more than you're receiving? You're not here to manage the connection alone. If you're constantly initiating, supporting, or trying to keep it alive, take a step back. Let the space reveal whether he steps in or steps out. Step 3. Detach from the outcome and reattach to your self-worth. This is where the magic happens. You stop asking, will he choose me? And start asking, does this situation align with the version of me I'm becoming? This is how you shift from fear to faith. Faith that love will meet you where you refuse to abandon yourself. Step 4. Set the emotional tone, then hold it. If you feel neglected, communicate it calmly and directly. If you want more clarity or commitment, speak it with confidence, not apology. But here's the catch. Don't just say it, back it up with action. If he can't meet you where you are, you lovingly create distance. No begging, no over-explaining, just alignment. Step 5. Fill your own cup, fully. Not as a tactic, but as a lifestyle. When you live in overflow, emotionally, socially, spiritually, you stop clinging to men who can't give you what you deserve. And ironically, that's when they start noticing your value more, because you're no longer waiting for them to define it. And finally, step 6. Be willing to lose someone who isn't ready. This is the boldest step of all. It means you trust yourself enough to walk away from situations that dim your light, even if you love him, even if there's potential. Because when you choose yourself, life has a way of replacing what you let go of with something even better. This isn't about controlling him. It's about mastering you. Start small, shift your energy, speak your truth, and watch what happens when you stop chasing and start receiving. This move isn't loud. It doesn't need to be. But once you make it, the entire relationship dynamic will never be the same again. If you've made it this far, take a moment, pause, and really feel that. Because what you just unlocked isn't just relationship advice. It's a reintroduction to your power. The kind that doesn't chase, doesn't shrink, and doesn't settle for halfway love. Too many women are taught that love has to be earned, that they have to be perfect, patient, pleasing, that if they give more, they'll get more. But real love, healthy, lasting, committed love, doesn't come from sacrifice. It comes from alignment. It shows up when you stop proving your worth and start embodying it. You don't have to become someone else to be chosen. You don't have to play games or silence your needs. You don't need to be more chill, less emotional, more agreeable, less too much. The woman you are, when you're fully expressed, emotionally honest, grounded in your standards, that's the woman who changes the room when she walks in. That's the woman a man remembers. That's the woman a man chooses, not because he has to, but because he can't imagine life without her. If you're watching this and thinking, but what if I've already given too much? Or what if I've stayed too long? Don't shame yourself. You didn't mess up. You were learning. You were loving the best way you knew how. And now you know better. So now you get to choose differently. You can make the shift today, right now. You can decide that your time, your energy, your love are sacred, and not everyone gets access to it just because they want it. The right person will meet you where you are, not ask you to lower your voice or lose yourself to be loved. And the beautiful truth: when you truly honor your standards, you don't just attract love, you attract aligned love. Love that matches your depth, your vision, your strength. You stop being an option and become a woman with options. So whether you're single, dating, or deep in something that feels unclear, remember this: you are never stuck. You are one decision away from completely shifting your romantic story. And it starts with this one move. The move back to yourself. Let him rise. Let him choose. But no matter what he does, you choose you. Because when a woman chooses herself fully, the right man doesn't run. He shows up, ready, clear, and sure. You're not asking for too much. You're just done settling for too little. Your standards are your power. Own them. And let everything that's real rise to meet you. So here's the exciting part. He finally starts chasing. Maybe he's showing up more consistently, texting you first, planning dates, or even dropping hints about a future together. It feels amazing, right? Like the validation you've been waiting for. But here's the truth: the game doesn't end when he starts chasing. In fact, that's when the real work begins. When a man chases, it means he's interested, but it doesn't automatically mean he's ready to commit fully. This is your chance to hold your standards stronger than ever. Because if you slip back into old patterns, if you suddenly become overly available or drop your boundaries because you're afraid of losing him, all the progress you made can quickly unravel. First, stay grounded in yourself. Keep your sense of independence alive. Just because he's chasing doesn't mean your world should revolve around him. Maintain your routines, your hobbies, your friendships. This balance not only makes you more attractive, but it also signals to him that your life is full, and that he's choosing to be part of something valuable, not filling a void. Next, continue to communicate clearly and authentically. If you want more clarity about what chasing really means, don't be afraid to ask. Say things like, "I love how you've been showing up, but I also want to understand where you see this going." This sets the tone for honest dialogue, and it shows you're serious about what you want, not just about being chased. Also be mindful not to reward inconsistent behavior. If he chases hard for a few days and then disappears for a week, don't jump back in like nothing happened. Let your actions match your words. Consistency breeds trust, and if he's truly ready for commitment, he'll prove it over time. And remember, the chase is a two-way street. If you've done the work to hold your boundaries, he'll feel the pressure, but in a good way. He'll realize that to keep your attention, he has to step up and stay present. This dynamic creates emotional safety for both of you, which is the foundation of lasting commitment. Lastly, don't lose sight of your power. Being chased feels good, but don't let it inflate your ego or cloud your judgment. Stay humble, stay centered, and keep asking yourself if this relationship is nurturing your growth. If at any point it's not, don't hesitate to recalibrate or walk away. The moment he starts chasing is a milestone, but it's not the finish line. It's the beginning of a new chapter where you both decide if this love is truly built to last. So celebrate the chase, but keep your standards high, your heart open, and your eyes wide. That's how you turn chasing into lifelong commitment.